Hey girly, my name is Wendy and I am a homeschooling stay-at-home mom of 4 little ones, and on this channel I talk about all things homeschooling as well as my biblical womanhood journey. Now today we are focusing on our least and favorite, our favorite and least, or best and worst read alouds that we read this year. Now, this is a collab with one of my best friends, Katie, over at Life in the Mundane. Katie is all things homeschool resources, and she's such a great wealth of knowledge when it comes to those things. So definitely check out her video as well as the other women that are in this collaboration. It's such a good collaboration to get a rich knowledge of a bunch of different books that you guys can do next year for your children, especially when it comes to read alouds. So we're gonna just jump right into it. I have my 2 older ones here because they're the ones that heard more of the read alouds in comparison to my 2 little ones, and they can give their honest opinion about how they felt about the books. All right, so the first one we're going to start off with is The Candymaker. Now, this is the most recent read aloud that we had, and my interpretation of it, we did it obviously CD wise, we got it from the library. My first initial instinct is long. It's a really long book.
True.
What did you think about it, Sean?
Initially, it was very confusing. Like in the end, like the girl's a spy, and I'm like, what?
Don't tell them the end of the book.
Oops. Spoiler alert. Anyways, but
So you found it confusing?
yeah, the book was all over the place, and I'm like, I wish they would have focused on one topic, and instead of making it more interesting in the confusing way, if they focused on just making the competition fiercer or adding more problems for them, I think the book would have been better. So for this book, I'm giving a maybe.
See, because like what they did was, I believe, is they went and they took, like, it's a contestant of how many is it? How many kids is it? Like, it's a contestant full of 4 kids, and then they're having a candy competition, a candy making competition, and they take the point of view of one kid, right? Then the next time they take a point of view of another kid, then they take a point of view of another kid, then they take a point of view of another kid. So it's just it's long. It's long. It's definitely not one of my favorites. It was actually one of my least favorite read alouds that we did this year.
She just doesn't like them when they're long.
It's not that I don't like it when it's long, but it's very much what he said. Like, it's long and confusing. So how did you feel about it?
Every time I listen to it, I want candy.
You wanted candy? So if your kids like candy, this might be a good book for them.
Well, I think it's too detailed.
It's too detailed. It
Way
was
too
very
detailed.
detailed. It was very detailed, which is a good thing, you know?
They played the story, then they played another view of the story.
Yeah. So it just it was you know, it just wasn't our favorite. But it's a fun book. It really is.
I'll give it a
Okay, so it was fun though. It really was.
Yeah.
It's just long.
confusing.
All right, so the next book we're gonna talk about is The Family Under the Bridge. Now, this was our Christmas read aloud that we did together this year. As mom, I thought it was cute. It was short. Okay, when you read this book, I don't understand how this lady could just be leaving her kids with this strange man. Like, she don't know this man, and he's a homeless man, and she just keep leaving her kids every day with this man.
She didn't like him anyways, but
she didn't like the man. Like, so,
But the kids liked him.
the kids liked him. It's just
And
a
cute little puppy.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a little difficult to read at times, in the sense that there is like I want to say like an accent that's there, but it was cute. Not too difficult. I thought it was cute. What'd you think?
it was an inch away from being perfect. The only problem is this is like if you have sensitive kids, you shouldn't read this. Like this is very intense and stuff, and like I was still sad about it, even though I don't get really sentimental about things.
Sentimental?
Go, keep going.
Kids are going to be watching this.
So
No, these are for adults. Sentimental is a good word. Go ahead.
So, yeah, I find it very sad, but at the same time, like it has good interest. It doesn't use too many describing words, and they're always the same person, and they're not focused on this one person view. They're focused on all of their views. But I like the way they did the illustrations too.
Yeah, there's some illustrations in here.
It gives the scenery like a dusty look.
Yeah, it is sad in some sense because they are homeless and they're a family living under a bridge. And
Not the whole book.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
And they want they want a home, and the little girls want a home, and that's all they want for Christmas.
There's a boy.
And the boy. And that's all they want for Christmas. So if you do have sensitive kids, it might
Santa.
if you do have sensitive kids, it might be a little sensitive for them. But we enjoyed it. We really did. So I would say this is one of our faves. Our favorite read alouds.
What about my point of view?
Okay, what was your point of view?
Very cold, sad, and emotional.
Yeah, it was cold because it was in the winter. All right, so the next book we're gonna talk about is Begin, and as you can tell,
Heart.
Just pulling out the book. This was one of their favorite books that we read this year. It's fun.
It's still not finished.
You want to do the series, right?
Yeah.
So it's a series. So they want to continue to keep reading it, and this is the first of the series. They really enjoyed this book. It was it's just it's a good storyline. I found it to be a really good book too. What did you think?
It's perfect. This is one of the many books that you have that were actually right on point with my mind. My mind was always wandering, and even though it barely has any pictures, I could picture it. I could smell the most amazing book ever. And I especially love that they have nice cliffhangers that are like, oh my God, I really want you to read the book, and I really want you to read it, and then I'm like forcing you to read it, but it's like, you don't have to read it. Like, so yeah, I want to read the second book, but it's like one of those books that gives you the choice whether or not to read it.
Yeah. So there's some books that he's saying that like with the cliffhanger is like, okay, well I gotta read it because like I gotta read the next one. But this one, it's the book itself came to a solid ending for him that he didn't necessarily feel like, oh, I needed to read the second one right now. But he does want to read the second one. This was definitely one of our faves that we read aloud this year. So Begin by Philip and Aaron Ulrich. Tale of Despereaux. Yes. I think this is the cutest, fun story. It was lighthearted and it was simple, and I loved it. I loved this book so much. What did you guys think?
I absolutely loved it, but my sister didn't.
Speak for yourself. How do you feel about the book?
I always loved the book from beginning to end. I loved the way the pictures looked, and I also loved like everything about the book. It's amazing, and like they describe how they feel, and it's a very lighthearted book. There's not a lot of sad parts in it, so I really like this book.
Do you remember this one, Samaya?
Yes.
And how did you feel about this one?
I don't like it.
You didn't like it?
No.
Why
it was
not?
too sad. A mouse is...
What was sad about it?
A mouse's tail fell off, then he used a string to sew it back on. It's gross, it's weird, and I hate it.
That's a little dramatic. Okay, so it was a little intense for her. I thought it was cute.
It's perfect for me.
So yeah, the Tale of Despereaux.
The next one's gonna be perfect.
I think
for
it's
me.
gonna be a fave for us. Okay, so the next one is the Toothpaste Millionaire. This was also, there's not a lot of books that I didn't like, I'm realizing. This was also a really good one for me. I thought it was funny. I thought it was lighthearted. It was a super quick read. I think we read it in like a week. And every time I started, they didn't want me to stop. One more chapter, mom. One more chapter, mom. So he was constantly asking
Me too.
They were both asking me to keep going.
And this is a real story.
Yeah. So and I love how it made being smart and loving math not like a not cool thing, like 'cause I'm a math lover and I appreciated that aspect of it. But it was just super cute. I really recommend the Toothpaste Millionaire if you haven't read it.
I would give it a medium. I love the book.
Look at the camera.
I love the book. Don't get me wrong, but it's not long, and I feel like they could have gotten some more problems into there. Or
what are you talking about? Do you remember what happened at the end with the three guys that came into the room, and there was a huge FBI agent, and they were trying to get him. The other toothpaste people were trying to get him. We're trying to get him to like go up on his prices and do fake prices with them.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is like it could use some improvement. Like I would like it like instead of just finishing in their one town, like they expanded, like or he did some more cool stuff. But I like the book a lot.
Okay, so what did you think, Samaya?
It needs a book 2, a book 3, and all the rest. It needs a series.
Yeah.
It ended at like a mystery. I loved it. I loved how black people and white people came together, and I liked how a smart idea became like a whole business, and he's like rich.
Yeah.
I feel like
kind of cool when a kid can become a millionaire. I'm just saying. It's kind of cool.
I'm a millionaire.
All right. So the next read aloud that we're going to talk about is the #1 Car Spotter. Now, this book, another super short one. This one we did Amber's Africa study, Amber from the Heritage Mom blog, and this was one of the books that was recommended. I'm so happy that I got it like for us to keep. It is so funny, so cute. We like literally laughed out loud while we were reading this book. So this one I definitely appreciated. What did you want to say?
There are so many funny names like Coca-Cola and all the rest.
Yes. There was a lot of funny names, like because they named people by like what they did, right? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily by what their name. So he was the #1 car spotter, so they call him #1. And they need cars to be spotted so that they can sell stuff. Or be prepared to sell stuff when different people come to town. So it was just fun. It was light. It was really sweet. I really enjoyed this book. What about you, Sean?
It was good. It was really good. I give it near perfect because I loved it, and I would like it if they make it thicker or added some stuff.
They do have more. They do have more of these.
They do.
Yeah, they have other ones in this series. So maybe we'll look into that. So this is definitely one of our faves as well.
Fave.
Now the next one that we're gonna talk about is Pippi Longstockings. Now, this book was not a favorite book of mine.
It's an Amelia Bedelia book, just with a different character.
I would actually consider this one of my least favorite books that we listened to and read this year. I know that the kids enjoyed it, but I felt like it was, how do I say this lightly? I felt like it wasn't very rich in what it was teaching, and I felt like it wasn't very rich in like just even descriptive words or anything like that. So it wasn't even like okay, yeah, they're getting a lighthearted book, but the things that they're learning about or the way that the things are being described makes it at least they're getting this rich, descriptive picture of things. It was neither. It was very, I feel like it was disrespectful towards police officers. I feel like it was disrespectful towards parents. I feel like it taught children that that they don't necessarily need any sort of supervision or adults or anything like that, or that they didn't need to be educated in any way. Like there was lying. It makes them sad because this was one of the books that they loved the most. But like even just knowledge, even just basic knowing math. Oh, you don't need to know that. That's not important. This, that, and the other. And it had this very, I don't know. I just didn't think it taught good character. And so I didn't enjoy this book at all, but my kids did. So, I mean, take it for a grain of salt. I read this book because it was recommended by somebody. So, so take it, just because I don't like it doesn't mean you shouldn't read it. It's just not, I didn't like it. I have some strong opinions about this book. What did you think about it? Samaya, you can go. You can start.
I think the one thing I did not like about the line, I did not like the line because I know these things aren't true. Because literally, just because I'm in 3rd grade and I'm 7 doesn't mean he said people crack eggs on their head to make their hair so strong.
Yeah, she lies a lot.
But she always confesses.
But it's
not
very
at the
funny.
start of the book, but like
it's very funny.
I love it a lot. But I don't want to say too much stuff for us.
Put your legs down, please.
Because you're already like so.
No. Be honest. Tell them how he really likes this book. So he's really disappointed that it's one of my least favorite books that we read this year. But go ahead.
It was
Get
amazing.
close to me, please.
I love all of this.
Speak up and look into the camera.
I love it because not only it like teaches you that anything impossible is possible. Just take out the "in."
Yeah, like a kid that is so strong that she can pick up a horse on her back. A little girl that's so strong that she can pick up a horse.
That's possible.
She has a monkey.
Well, if she went to the gym every day and drank protein.
This little girl, does she look like she go to the gym every day?
It's a fiction. And maybe the horse was small and didn't weigh that much.
Yeah. So the kids liked it because it's funny and it's a child completely living on her own and doing everything on her own, and
she makes pancakes on the floor.
She makes pancakes on the floor. What kind of kid wouldn't love that? So
I wouldn't.
This next book, I don't have it with me, but I'm gonna post a picture of it somewhere. And this book is called Serafina's Promise. This was our very first read aloud that we read this year. And as you can see, all of our other books were light. Besides The Family Under the Bridge, all of our other books this year was light and fun and just very playful. Serafina's Promise was heavy, and it talks about this poor girl who lives in Haiti, and we did the Haiti unit study with Thistles and Biscuits, I believe. Thistles and Biscuits. I have a video talking about it, so I'll link that up above. But we did their unit study. We did her unit study, and that's where this book reference came from. And we are Haitian. I was born in Haiti. And it was such a deep, such a very sad story about this poor girl who didn't have anything but the clothes on her back. And what she wanted most of all was to go to school, to become a doctor, so that she can help her mother, so that she can help her village, so that she can help her people. And just talking about her trials and her journey to try to be able to do that, talking about different things that Haiti is still experiencing now, such as earthquakes and the poverty level there. It's still there, and it's still very much a thing. And so to have my children be able to learn a little bit more about my culture, a little bit more about my people, but in a way that is just like, they value education and they value helping one another. She didn't want to become a doctor so that she could get up out of there and never see these people again. You know, she didn't want to become a doctor so that she could live in a mansion and build wealth. Like, no, she wanted to become a doctor so that she can serve, so that she can help. And what did she always say? What did her mom always tell her?
Bon
Dieu.
Bon Dieu.
What is it?
Bon Dieu bon.
Bon Dieu bon. Bon Dieu bon, which means God is good. God is good. Even in the midst of poverty, even in the midst of sickness, even in the midst of a loss, God is good. And it's a heavy book, I'm not gonna lie. But it is by far my favorite book that we read this year, because I think that it's the most selfless book that we read this year. It wasn't about their entertainment and their enjoyment and stuff like that, but it was about jumping into these people's lives and about learning what other people, the things that we take for granted, like going to school or being educated at home and not wanting to do school, is things that people wish that they could have. So I feel like the lesson behind it was rich and was deep, and it's by far my number one recommendation. Serafina's Promise. If you haven't heard of it, you gotta pick it up. Just an excellent book. Smile, what did you think?
I don't know why it's your favorite book. It's my least favorite. One, her dad gets under a bunch of rocks.
You cannot tell what happened in the book. You're gonna ruin it for them.
I'm sad, and
It made you sad.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I cried during it.
Yeah.
I was so sad when we started talking about Serafina's Promise, and I forgot Bon Dieu bon.
Yeah, and she forgot how to say Bon Dieu bon. So it wasn't your favorite book.
No.
But did you appreciate learning?
I appreciate learning. And I appreciate praying for Haiti.
Yes, we did spend that entire month praying for Haiti. John, what did you think about Serafina's Promise?
Serafina's Promise was by far the saddest book I've ever read. Like, I never thought anything could be sadder than that book. And I am still haven't seen anything sadder than that book. Because it was unbearably sad. I think we cried like multiple times while reading that book. And it was still teaching us stuff that I wanted to read more. Like, I didn't want to stop. I wanted to know what happens. Like, you know how books sort of have these sections, like the beginning where you get introduced to the characters, the problem. It goes from the beginning to the climax, and the climax is just the rest of the book.
Yeah, it has several climaxes throughout the book, several. So it's
a sad part.
It's got several major events that happen.
The saddest thing
that like
ever.
really take you on a road. Like, it takes you on a road. But what did we learn?
You learned a lot.
And we learned that Bon Dieu.
Bon Dieu bon.
God is good. God is good. Because when you have nothing and you can say that God is good, then when you have everything, you should be even more grateful.
She prayed like
and
6
know,
times a day.
Yeah, she prayed a lot. She prayed a lot. She leaned on God so much. And we should look to her as an example.
Can I say one more thing about the book?
What?
Never mind. What's a spoiler?
No spoilers, but definitely read it. So that's it. That is our least favorites and favorites. As you guys can see, we all have different favorites and least favorites. We definitely check out the playlist. Let me know, have you read any of these books? Which book are you going to actually check out? And until next time.
Bye.
Say bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
That was so much work.
Still filming.